What's going on, YouTube? Going to do a quick video today on replacing the front hardware on the front wheel here on the spindle. This is going to be on a 95 Craftsman GT6000 Garden Tractor. Pretty straightforward process, really not that complicated. I will put a link to the kit that I used in the description below off of Amazon. This is a 3/4 inch spindle here, so you will need the kit that will fit that. Some of them are 1/2 inch, some of them are 3/4. Being a garden tractor, it is a 3/4. So we're just going to go over this in case you need to do it to yours. Some things you'll need is a good flathead screwdriver, preferably a little magnet, makes your life easy, a grease gun, and a pair of channel locks. Open them up to about the 3rd notch or so on a regular size pair of channel locks. And then, of course, all your new hardware, which would be, let's see, 2 small backing washers that go behind the wheel, and then 1 large washer that goes on the outside, and then your new retaining clip. So the first thing you want to do, take your flathead screwdriver, get in underneath this clip right here, and just pry it up and twist your screwdriver like so. It'll pop right off. Don't need that old one anyway, so if you lose it, that's fine. Now we're going to take our magnet, makes it super easy. Pull your washer off, then your wheel's ready to come off. Alright, we'll set that to the side. I'm going to zoom in here. There we go, maybe you can see a little bit there. Now I'm going to take my magnet again. There, you got a washer up in here. I did the other side, it only had 1 washer. It's supposed to have 2. You may run into that as well. But I'm going to take that magnet, clip onto that washer, and just pull it straight off the shaft. Just like that. No more prying up in there trying to get it with a screwdriver. And I looked out that time. Actually got both of them off in one pull. So those are done. Now what you want to do is take your screwdriver again and clean this out as best you can. And I've got some paper towels handy up here. And I'm just gonna wipe this off and keep trying to dig some of this old nasty grease out of here as best I can. And we'll take my towel and kind of clean up in there. It don't have to be perfect. You're going to re-grease it anyway, but anytime you can get old grease like that out of there, that's a win. You really don't want to start off fresh like that, at least not in my opinion. Now here's a good chance to look over your spindle while it's clean. Kind of feel for any grooves. This one has a little bit of a grooving to it right here where the paint line is. I can feel it with my fingernail right there and right there. That's okay, that's not a big deal. As long as there's not any deep gouging here, you'll be okay. I don't really see anything major. So first thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna take my grease gun. I'm gonna pump a little out on my finger here, just like that, about 1 pump worth. And I'm going to put some up in here to kind of help that back washer stick into place. It'll keep it from moving around on you. So once you get a little grease up in there, take your new backing washer, 1 of them, slide it up in there and press it into place. You can take your screwdriver if you want, kind of make sure it's seated. Now I'm going to take another pump of grease and do the same thing on this side of the washer. And this is probably not 100% necessary because you're going to grease the whole spindle anyway when you get done and get your wheel back on, but it just makes me feel better doing it that way. So I'm going to go ahead and slide that on and make sure it's seated. You'll kind of see that grease squish out around there. So once you've got those 2 backing washers on, you're ready for your wheel to go back on. It's really that quick. what I like to do, put a little bit of grease, not a whole lot, just a little bit on here, just to make sure that's lubricated good, because when you pump the grease into the wheel, in the back of the wheel there, it's going to squirt down in here like it's supposed to, but it may not wrap completely around the shaft like it needs to. So I like to put a little bit on there, just to kind of a preventative thing. Now we're going to grab our wheel. Remember, valve stem side out. I've slid a medium on backwards and then realized it won't hurt anything, just valve stem's on the wrong side. So now that's ready to go. So we're going to put our big washer on the outside, just like so. You're going to have just enough room there to put your clip on. So what I like to do is hold my clip at the 12 o'clock position. Let me reposition you here a little bit. I like to put this at the 12 o'clock position, kind of like that. And I've got the whole front end jacked up so the tractor's doing this. But if you can get it started just like that, then take your channel locks again in about the third groove or so on a standard size pair of channel locks. Grab the bottom of the axle there with the bottom jaw and grab the top just barely with the tip and squeeze that down. You may have to get a couple bites at it, like it's halfway on right now. I'm going to grab another bite. And just like that, it's on. It may kind of twist around on you a little bit, that's fine. But you want to bite right on the tip of that top jaw, because if you start squeezing against that washer, you're just going to fight yourself. Now, last but not least, you put your cap on. This one, the way it was shipped, unfortunately, it's all messed up. That's shipping for you nowadays. So I'm going to squirt just a little bit out here of grease, and I'm just going to try to get in frame here. First of all, I'm going to put a little bit of grease in here, not a lot, just enough to help you slide this on, especially if it shows up like this. So we're going to work that on. It should slide right up just like that, and you can just push it right on. Now there's a groove already kind of swelled out in that cap. You want that big washer to sit in that groove, so push it on until you hear it kind of snap on, and that's ready to go. Now I'm going to wipe my greasy fingerprints off because I just washed this tractor and now it's greasy again. But the advantage to having the whole front end of the tractor jacked up at one time, number one, you can do both wheels at once, and number two, you can get in here on the back side and grease ever living fire out of it. And you can do both sides without having to move your jack or anything like that. Sorry about the camera, guys. Wow, I'm struggling today. All right, so I'm just going to pump some grease in here. Never mind all the leaves, they washed out from under. Well, I ain't got my grease gun on there good. There we go. You'll see a little bit come out, that's okay. This old grease gun is notorious for that. Alright, that started to kind of stiffen up a little bit, so I'm going to call that good. And I'm going to clean my mess up. Get all that grease off my freshly painted wheel as best that I can here. Alright, now what I like to do, just for my own satisfaction, let's go ahead and just give her a few turns, let that grease work in good, and that wheel right there is good to go. Like I said, this is on a 95 GT6000. Got the Carlisle True Powers on the rear, weights, blade on the front. So maintenance like this is important. If you work these tractors, you need to do this stuff. If you can't remember the last time this was done, or don't know the last time it was done, it's cheap insurance to save those spindles, because you don't want to buy those unless you have to. Yep, that's how you replace the hardware on the front end. Takes about 5 minutes, literally. Flathead screwdriver, magnet, channel locks, grease gun, and some rags. You're good to go. Like I said, I'll put the link to that kit in the description below. And if you have any questions or comments, please put them below as well. Thanks for watching.